Joli, Holland and Dakota, Hampton have surnames that are synonymous with success in the NFL. But they've built their own legacy, playing volleyball here at USF.
The recruiting process with Dakota Hampton started the same as any other recruit, really. I mean, we go out and evaluate talent, and she was a great player, super competitive, had the all-around game, 6-rotation player. It wasn't until later that I realized that Dan Hampton was actually her dad.
Growing up with NFL players as fathers certainly didn't define Hampton and Holland, but it did shape their development as athletes.
My dad's extremely hardworking, and I think that, he taught me that I have to be if I want to be good at something. And I think that his competitiveness definitely rubbed off on me.
Even though he might not completely understand everything about volleyball, he definitely knows everything, the simple things, like from footwork to discipline. I think that's a big thing that my father really stuck with me, is discipline and the no excuses. Really self-accountability.
Both Joli and Dakota have an extreme level of competitiveness. They're two of the most competitive kids that I've ever coached, and they just have really high expectations and a really strong work ethic.
And their somewhat out-of-the-ordinary lives helped Hampton, a senior, and Holland, a junior, bond when the latter arrived on campus.
I feel like the reason why we're so close now is we share a lot of the same background, not seeing your father as much growing up, and similar of the same lifestyle, and it made us very close. It made us very open with one another.
When she first got here, we talked about it a lot and the similarities that we have together. I mean, we do have some pressure, and we were more in the spotlight than others because of our dads, but I think we embraced it.
Perhaps it is easier to develop outside the expectations of large shadows cast when you can't grow up playing football. It is something both Holland and Hampton say could be different for their brothers.
I think he's at the point where now he's okay, even if I don't play, it's okay, but he's definitely like my father, where he has to be around it.
Gonna be 13 years old, so there is a little pressure for him to, play football. So we'll see what happens. He's gonna start this year, so I'm excited to see.
But for now, the two will focus on what they have their entire lives, blending family, football, and volleyball.
Similar to the relationship of what I have with my coaches, and now I get to relate with him on that same level of the relationships he had with his players. It's really special. It's truly as a second family.
And we also even work our senior night around their schedule if needed. Typically it would be the last home match of this season, which is usually on a Sunday. But again, Sunday night football, I get it. So this year we've moved ours to the Friday night so that Dan can be there, and we would certainly be willing to do the same for the Hollands in the future.
Holland and Hampton, those names will always be attached to the NFL. But Joli and Dakota, those names are the ones that matter on the volleyball court.